Hello there, how are we doing today? It's Friday, we made it, weekend beckons, and hopefully some more fun stuff for all of us. Thank you all for watching and some of you for commenting. I think there was a comment in the last video that was talking about the presumption fallacies. So before I carry on with the cognitive fallacies, I just wanted to address this one. I'm going to mention two which are probably the most common that you see. Now, presumption fallacies are ways of thinking which undermine an argument, if you like, by either just simplifying the point, black and white fallacies, for example, or black and white way of thinking, or by introducing an argument which is not actually supported by any data. And that's kind of a mere assertion fallacy, if you like. Now, this is a way of thinking where people either subconsciously or deliberately trying to undermine the argument that is made by introducing a very shaky ground on whatever we're talking about. And therefore, because we don't have an argument that is based on solid foundations of information, it can go to all sorts of places and usually kind of very likely to wrong conclusions. So, for example, there's a black and white way of thinking, the fallacy. If we say things like, human body organisms have been either developed by blind luck or chance, or they must have been designed by somebody. And because they're so complex, they must have been designed. Now, this is clearly a very binary option. So what we're saying is that the reason we are the way we are today is because either the universe has just kind of gone from fortunate accident to fortunate accident, just blind luck and chance, or there was an original creator. So the whole idea about evolution, about organisms evolving into a certain pattern, is just dismissed completely. So if we just use this premise for the argument, then we are logically going to conclude that because modern bodies are so complex, then there must have been a creator, because it's very, very unlikely that all this developed by chance. But of course, this is only a conclusion, because that's the only two parameters we're introducing in the conversation: luck or design. We don't even mention the complexity of evolution and the complexity of the way current organisms have developed, or the way we are and how we got here as a species, if you like. So this is a good example. Or for example, in relationships, somebody's gay either because they were influenced by somebody, as in they saw a gay film or a gay picture, and therefore they were all of a sudden decided to be gay, or because they were turned from being straight, being gay, by having an experience with somebody. So what we're suggesting here is that being gay is only a question of either being influenced by propaganda, by the woke agenda, or by essentially being turned or made gay by an interaction with somebody who is gay. So the whole idea that, gay people are born and all the rest of it is just not introduced. So then it's up to us between these two options to decide which one we like. Do we prefer the fact that gay people are made either by a material or by other gay people? So it's a very sort of faulty way of reasoning, but funnily enough, it happens all the time. So that's one presumption fallacy. The other one is the mere assertion. So basically, we just say something without backing it up altogether, and we base the whole argument on this particular premise. So the idea that, for example, men just cannot suffer from sexual assault. That's it. There's no such thing as men being abused sexually, because otherwise you must love it. Otherwise you obviously wouldn't get an erection if you're a man, for example. So the whole thing is we just throw this comment to the wind, is that men can't be sexually assaulted, and then we go with it. We roll with it, and it doesn't matter how logically or how rationally we think about what we're going to say next. The whole argument is faulty from the start, because we just assert something without any data, without any actual information, and we choose to reduce the complexity of this particular problem by just making a doctrine statement from the start. So, and I think you'll see this a lot in public discourse, and sometimes even in relationships with other people you talk about, is that, I'm sorry, I'm okay with gay people, but I just don't agree with them having kids. And that's it. And then you'll base your whole argument with the fact that gay people can't possibly be good parents without actually providing any information or any data by this. I've actually seen once an individual saying that gay people are by definition pedophiles or they corrupt children. No information about this, no actual data as to why this may be. But the whole premise of that argument, and you can imagine the sort of person making that argument, was the fact that being gay is somehow A, being promiscuous, and second, being predatory. Which is, the reality is just not so. But again, this person making this argument doesn't provide any facts. And a lot of people that use this presumption fallacy, this kind of mere assertion, they say things like, they say, or it is generally understood, or people usually say that, which actually doesn't mean, or my personal favorite is, I know it in my heart that it is so. But knowing it in your heart, it's not actually having accurate information about a thing. I can know in my heart that, I don't know, my favorite football team might want to win the league this year, but the practical of it might be fundamentally different, and I have no actual data to make it so, or to actually prove to you why I actually think that. I just know it in my heart. So I think thank you for the person who commented on this and introduced the presumption fallacies. I think they're important, and the reason I'm talking about these things is because it's often that a lot of the mental health issues, or the strife, or the anxiety, or the existential angst we feel, is because we see the world in a certain way, more or less the way which we've been programmed to see. And if you grow up with your parents introducing you to these fallacies, to the way of thinking which is actually erroneous about yourself or about the world, then you might be in a position now where you do feel anxiety, where you do feel that you're not good enough, or you're not worthy enough, or that people like you aren't actually valuable members of society. So that's why I actually talk